Welcome to Kicking in the Second Half. I'm D. I'm back again with Hugh.
What's up?
And tonight we're going to debate again. And what's the topic, Hugh?
Brooklyn's finest.
Brooklyn's Finest. This is a spinoff of episode 12. If you haven't seen that podcast, definitely check that out. And yeah, in episode 12, I think we started out early in that episode. I can't remember the subject of the episode, but we talked about Harden and Durant. And I brought up a comment, and you didn't particularly like what I had to say. You remember part of that comment?
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, what is it?
I think you said something along the lines of that it's more Harden's team than KD's team or
Yeah,
something like
whose
that, right?
team is this? The Brooklyn Nets. What do you
Whose
think?
team is
Whose
it?
team?
You asking me my opinion?
Give me a name. There's like
Kevin Durant. Kevin
six
Durant.
people on the team that you could possibly choose from.
Kevin Durant.
Based off your responses yesterday, I'm sure you'd probably say Blake Griffin or DeAndre Jordan's team. Go ahead and lay it on me.
Nah, I mean, yeah, it's I think it's KD's team. I mean,
I
it's
think it's James Harden's team.
okay. Well, we can agree to disagree.
No, we're not agreeing on anything. We're going to make a decision here right now, right on the podcast.
So you're an extremely
Sorry, this
persuasive
ain't even a
guy,
podcast.
but
This
you're
is
not going to
debate.
persuade me on this. But
I don't have to persuade you, just the viewers and the listeners.
well, okay, whatever. But
Well, give me something.
yeah, well,
Okay,
yeah.
let me ask you this. Let me just ask you a bunch of questions about Kevin Durant. How is this his team, and what is he doing for the team right now?
Man, he's banged up. It ain't his fault.
So, whose fault is it that they have the record that they have right now?
Well, it's a team that he kind of put together.
So you're admitting that Kevin Durant is the GM of the team, like he's the owner of the team or something? Like
No,
he
but
put
Kevin
this stuff
Durant
together
has
so
an
he didn't have to
extreme
play?
voice.
So he put this
He-
stuff together so he didn't have to play?
Nah, he got Kyrie with him. He got DeAndre Jordan with him.
He had
got
Kyrie
Blake
with
Griffin
them last year. He had Kyrie with them
No,
last year.
yeah, I mean when he came to Brooklyn, he brought Kyrie. He brought DeAndre Jordan with him.
No,
and then he got
DeAndre
Blake
Jordan
Griffin there.
actually recruited those two guys.
Well, KD has more say in my opinion.
More saying what? More saying
And
that,
everything.
because he puts his hand in the baskets and picks out the prettiest Easter egg. I have to say that because Easter's on its way. Is that what he does? He's skipping around, just picking up pretty looking stuff and putting it in the basket. Oh, I like to have a Kyrie Irving, put him in there. Ooh, I like to have a James Harden. Look at that golden egg. Put him in there. Look at this, look at this egg. It's been cracked open, but the yolk's still fresh. Go ahead and put Blake Griffin in there.
Yeah, I
You tell
mean,
me.
yeah, pretty much.
No, this is James Harden's team, bro. This is
No,
his team.
bull.
No, it's
Man.
not, because James Harden's putting up the numbers. James Harden's playing the games. James Harden, yeah, he was complaining earlier when he was on the Rockets before he got traded. He's traded. You haven't heard anything about James Harden. The drama comes from Kyrie Irving primarily, and then followed by Kevin Durant. James Harden does nothing but run the team, run his team. It is officially has gone from Kevin Durant to James Harden. You ever played Monopoly?
Yeah.
Yeah, they traded. They made a trade. There's a trade within the trade. James Harden said, I'll come to Brooklyn if you give me the title that it's my team. And he's run away with it. He's run away with it.
I don't agree with that.
It's James Harden's team to lose now. Kevin Durant has to come back and prove that it's his team. If he doesn't play, or if he plays and gets hurt, how is it still his team?
I mean,
This to me is just a different version of Golden State. He came to Golden State and he left. Actually, he left Golden State because he wasn't getting the press like he wanted. He felt like the writers were writing too much on Steph Curry than him. Well, guess what? You came to that team, and yeah, you won 2 Finals MVP, but that guy was already MVP, and they were already a Finals, a championship caliber team before you came. In this instance, yeah, you were there before James Harden, but you didn't play the first season, and you've played a few games this season. So what all that the record reflects, James Harden has had more of an impact than Kevin Durant.
I mean, to at this point in this season, I would agree with that last statement you made that Harden's had more of an impact than KD. But I mean, whole team wise, I think by far KD's made the bigger impact, and I do think when KD eventually comes back, that he'll pick up where he got back off. You'll see Harden's numbers dip down some, I think. And I mean, Harden, he just got like a quarter way through this year, just got traded. He ain't even been on the team for a year. I can't say it's his team.
He hasn't been on the team for a year, but he's played more games for Brooklyn than Kevin Durant has in 2 years.
Yeah, and he's playing great, but I mean, it's KD's team, man.
KD has not put in that many games in time.
It's not his fault. He's been hurt.
Is the owner?
Is he
owning? Does he have money invested in the team? Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
He's a leader. He's their leader.
Is that what it is? How? In what aspect?
Well, not while he's hurt. I mean, he carries that team when he's healthy. Leader?
Tell me, like, because
he's the go-to guy when they are hurt, or when he's not hurt.
Let me tell you this: if you go to Kevin Durant during the game, if James Harden or Kyrie Irving right now wants to go to Kevin Durant, that's a turnover because he's sitting on the sidelines. Pass it to him. Let him catch it.
Turnover. Dude, that's an ignorant comment. That's an ignorant comment.
I don't care what kind of comment.
I said when he's healthy.
I'm backing up my statements, Hugh. Back yours up. Go-to guy. Where are you going to go to? The bench?
I said when he's healthy. What?
When he's healthy, maybe he can come back and prove that he's the face of the team. He's not the face of the team. He's not. James Harden is. I know you don't like Harden, but Harden's putting in the work, bro. Ever since he came to Brooklyn, he shut his mouth and he got to work and he got busy in a hurry. And he's putting up numbers. Only thing he said that you could, you could criticize is when he made the comment of that he is the MVP. I mean, but if he were to take that statement and add a little bit more to it and says he's the MVP of the team, I think we'd all agree to that.
Yeah, I mean, this season at this point, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, like you touched on, KD hasn't played that much. I mean, that's to be expected. Let's say
he lost control of the team. When you don't play that much and you haven't played that many games, you lost control of your team. The team is run by James Harden. Even Kyrie respected that enough to say, "Hey, man, you could even have my position on the court. You're the point guard now." He gave the man his position. I'm gonna play shooting guard.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say that Harden's the number 2 now, and Kyrie's the odd man out there. I will agree with that, but I don't. I mean, KD's like I said, missed a lot of time, but still, I mean, I don't think that negates him the right from the team that he wanted and put together. I don't think that means that he's just handed off the keys to the team and said, "Well, I sit on the bench. Oh, when I come back, it's still gonna be your team." I mean, right now it's Harden's team. I'm not arguing with that, but I mean, let's say all three are healthy and you think it's going to keep up, then I don't agree with that.
But that's the argument when I had made that statement the other day. It's Harden's team now, and Harden didn't ask for the keys. He took them. Started up the engine,
come back in the first game, be his team again.
Okay, so let me reverse it back on you.
Harden's balling right now. I ain't gonna lie.
When Kevin Durant was on the Golden State Warriors and he won that first Finals MVP, that changed the narrative. All of a sudden, are the Golden State Warriors Kevin Durant's team? Yes or no? In your opinion?
No.
Why?
Because Steph Curry.
Kevin Durant's a better person.
Says who?
The stats. You're a stat man.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the KD and Harden stats, I mean, KD's still averaging more points a game. I'm just saying.
He's averaging
less than one rebound.
He's averaging more points per game. I like how you like to skew the numbers. You're a car salesman more than I am. He's averaging more points per game, but how many games has he played?
Bro,
ever since James Harden came,
playing all the time.
He played 5 games or 7 games with James Harden and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
So
he's just purposely sitting on the bench like he ain't hurt.
I wish your bud was on here. He'd probably call him Mr. Burns. He's just sitting in the background, bro.
Hey, you wait, bro. You wait. KD come back and just start taking over again.
That's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to do that because right now I don't believe it's his team. It's James Harden's team. He would have to come and get it off of James Harden. It's his team. He's running Brooklyn right now. I know nobody really saw this coming. Nobody knew Kevin Durant was going to be injured and miss half the season like he has so far. But James Harden came in and took over the team. That's just bottom line.
All right, so
Is there a
KD should
question you want
ask
to
for a
ask
trade.
me? You were asking me a
Yeah,
question
KD
before
should
we got
ask
on here.
for a trade, shouldn't he?
You were asking me a question before I got on.
No. Hold on. I'm asking you a question. KD should ask for a trade, then, shouldn't he? This
No,
offseason,
he's
he should
doing
ask
what
to
he
be traded,
did.
right?
He's doing what he did with the Warriors. He's just sitting in the background and waiting for playoffs because they don't need him right now. They don't need him. They don't need him. James Harden
So he
just
should ask for a
basically
trade,
made the
right? He wants the
James Harden
team to be
basically
his.
took the Brooklyn Nets and made them look like the Houston Rockets teams that he's had over the last several seasons. And when the playoffs come and when James Harden normally kind of flails out, that's when Kevin Durant would come back. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do what I did in the finals. And that's about it.
And he'll
That's
win the
about it.
championship, and he'll be the
The
Finals
Rockets.
MVP.
No,
And
this is the
Harden will be
Houston
forgotten.
Rockets. This is the Houston Rockets. They've just changed their jerseys and relocated to Brooklyn. Right now, that's what it looks like. Instead of CP3 or Russell Westbrook, you got Kyrie Irving and a bunch of role players. This is the Houston Rockets right now with KD sitting out. This is James Harden's team, bro.
To argue with. You're a hard man to argue with, but I don't agree with you.
This is James Harden's team, bro.
Yeah. So first, I was asking you earlier why you're wearing Knicks gear for a Brooklyn Nets episode. You want to elaborate on that?
One, I don't have any Brooklyn Nets gear right now. Two, I don't even know if I'm going to get any Brooklyn Nets gear. Three, because you're all pro Kevin Durant, I'm going to go Michael Rappaport on you. Go figure, huh? Your defense is weak.
Bite me in the butt there, ain't it?
A little bit. You shouldn't have mentioned it to me.
I see that now. All right. So are you throwing like subliminal shade at Brooklyn with the Knicks gear on, or?
I mean, it's New York. If any people from New York are watching, I mean, a lot of them are still repping the Knicks, and the Knicks, you know, don't put them in the shadows, bro. They're in the playoffs right now. They're making the playoffs. The Nets are doing what they should be doing, bro. Anytime you stack the deck like that, that's what you should get. Anything less is a failure. I mean, I know they just went up #1 today in the East standings with that win you told me about, but they're doing what they should be doing, bro. It's no different than the Clippers narrative last year. Like, what else do you expect? That's actually what you expect. You don't expect any worse. If it was worse, you'd be like, you'd be laughing your butt off. This is what everybody expects them to do. It's not that they're hoping they'll do it. You expect it. Like I said, once again, give the New York Knicks their respect. Who expected this to be like that? Like what position they're in this year? Unless you're just a diehard Knicks fan, like you are a diehard Cowboys fan who thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl every year.
Pretty much.
We're happy to your energy. Your level just went down, 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 down. Why don't you go ahead? Let's argue if Kyrie Irving is the face of the team over Durant.
I'd rather argue Blake Griffin.
I'll give you Kyrie Irving after I just roasted Durant.
I'd rather argue for Blake Griffin.
Would you now? Because he's gotten off more dunks as a net than he did as a Piston?
Yeah, he knocked down a nice three-pointer today too, I saw.
You got an awfully quiet.
But what else you got to talk about? Let's move on.
Oh man, you want to call the debate on that? You want to end the episode? What's wrong?
Ain't nothing wrong. We have more topics to talk about, so let's go to the next one. Like I said, I mean, I'm gonna believe what I believe, and you're gonna believe what you believe, and you're just like arguing with a wall, and I ain't gonna get nowhere.
Make the people.
The viewers
believe.
Can make their assessment.
Make them believe.
Yeah, I feel like anyone with common sense would say it's KD's team, but that's just me.
Common sense? What kind of common sense? Going on Wikipedia and Googling who is one of the top 5 players in the league, and Kevin Durant pops up before James Harden.
I think they will have more long-term success with Kevin Durant than James Harden.
I say, whose team is it? It's hard.
Kevin Durant. All right.
All right, let's go on. I wish we had a mediator here in between. Shout out to your bud. You can just ask us questions and move on. Yeah. All right. So let's just keep it going. This is about Brooklyn. We'll keep it about Brooklyn. One of the things I talked to you about the other day, still related to Brooklyn, and this is off camera, so this is behind the scenes. With the playoffs. What are you doing? What are you doing? Look,
Nothing.
The playoffs. Brooklyn Nets. What did that say?
No, actually, you said this on camera.
All right. Well, hey,
we
proof
were
right there.
We were podcasting when you said this.
What did I say?
You said that you wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make it out the second round.
Yep.
Or something along those lines. Yeah.
And where do you have Brooklyn ending up right now?
At least in the Eastern Conference Finals, probably the actual finals.
At least. So right now, you're thinking that they should make it at least to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm saying that
at a
there's
minimum.
a great possibility they don't make it past the second round. Let me go in here and look a little bit. Let's look at the standings right now. So right now, yeah, your theory would be correct. I'm just going to say if Kevin Durant don't come back healthy and the 76ers able to get back Joel Embiid and they get back to number one, because they're only a half game back behind the Brooklyn Nets right now. Brooklyn Nets just has one more win. They're tied for losses at 15. Brooklyn could stay there, then yeah, maybe you have good reason to think what you're thinking. I mean, it's not a bad judgment based off the talent that they have on paper. But I mean, it only takes one more thing to mess this up. This all looked like the perfect picture early in the season. Oh, it's going to be James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and if they get and Kevin Durant, and now adding the other pieces, but things can go wrong, and it might not go wrong before the regular season. It might be in the postseason. So depending on who you're matched up with, they better not drop. They don't want to face the Bucks or the Sixers, but in my opinion, maybe the Bucks in the second round. They don't want that. They don't want to do that. Get their backs against the wall and then have personality and team chemistry issues where, somebody's got to take that last shot because it's a tough game, or somebody's not acting right, not doing their part, not performing very well. You look at the bench, maybe you don't have that much depth. So then you're looking back at your starters. What if Blake Griffin's going off on Kyrie Irving, or DeAndre Jordan's mad because James Harden dribbled 15 times and didn't pass it to him in the post? We've seen this before. This has been on other teams. We've seen this before. Kevin Durant, hopefully he's healthy. He could step in, maybe just take over the game. But then who's to say that the other two won't get mad if he chooses to do that? That might be their best option. Let KD drop 25 in the fourth. Don't let the other one shoot.
And that's for the coach to decide there.
Oh, the coach. Wait a minute. Does Brooklyn have a coach?
Yeah, his name's Steve Nash.
Oh, well, no. No, I think Kyrie Irving said their coach was Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant had said their coach was Kyrie Irving. Because if you remember the comments, they said they didn't need a coach.
That was before the season even started.
Oh, that's before they handed the team over to James Harden, you mean? Is James Harden the coach now? Because they are doing a great job as him being the coach. I'll tell you that.
No. Okay. See, there you go. No. Okay.
There I go. I'm backing
at
up your statements with comments that were made by them earlier in the season.
I hear you. But looking at the standings for the East, the only team that worries me slightly as a matchup problem would be the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's just with Embiid and everything he can bring. In my opinion, the West has a lot more of those dominant centers. That's kind of what I've described as maybe the Nets' weakest link is the center position. But they did what I thought they should have and what I was talking about, and went out and signed Aldridge. So we'll see how he plays and meshes with them. I think if he joins them and meshes them well and contributes and all that kind of stuff, I don't think Philly will be a problem either, to be honest.
Where's
but I
the
just think
excitement in this? You sound like you're doing a podcast. I'm just
Nah,
listening to
nah,
you,
but
and
I just mean,
I'm kind of wanting to fall asleep. I'm just kind of like, I've heard this before.
well, I hear what you're
Give
saying
me
before.
something. Give me something. Give me something that's gonna make me feel like, man, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about this. I know there's
Well,
optimism there.
you
I
are
know the
wrong. You're gonna sit here
possibilities.
and say this, but you're gonna be wrong.
Oh, there's the excitement. Oh, I'm going to be wrong. I'm. You know what? For the sake of you and other Brooklyn Nets fans, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But after what happened with the Clippers, sometimes history repeats itself. Sometimes it does.
Yeah. But you're
Sometimes it
saying
does.
all it takes, you keep saying something and you're like, all it takes is one thing for them to fall apart. One player get
Yep.
hurt. Okay.
Yep.
Philly, Embiid could be out the year. Bucks, Giannis could be out the year. Okay. It just happens. You have that chance. I'm not talking about those chances. I mean, as it sits with the rosters they
No,
are
no, no,
given,
no.
with their players healthy.
Sir, it's different. It's different with them because they have higher expectations. It's like the Clippers last year. When you make those claims and say such and such, or people look at you in a different way, you have to back that up. So yeah, anything could go wrong, but you
They
you
are
put
they're
yourself
first in the East.
you put yourself that's right. This is what I've been talking about. This is regular season. This is what they're supposed to do. Plus, they're not all playing on the floor at the same time. You can win a game, you can lose a game. Like sometimes where you're like, oh man, I can't believe they lost against that team. Then they go on a 3-game winning streak. Okay, it's different in a 7-game series. It's no different than when the Bucks got defeated by the Heat last year. You don't see that coming. And it's like, what do? What adjustments you make? Well, it's a 7-game series. It's tough. You know, you got to make adjustments on the fly, so to speak, because you're playing the same team again. That's going to make adjustments against you the next game. So regular season, yeah, the duos are working. Kevin Durant, Kyrie, that was working. Harden and Kyrie, that was working. How much floor time did we see with Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden? Not enough, in my opinion. Not enough. So we need Kevin Durant to get back out there. And then we need to see, okay, what happens in a tight game situation where they're playing a more competitive team or they're down in the fourth and all of them are on the court. These are the questions. We've seen James Harden carry teams, the Rockets teams in the past, and be up there in the standings. This is the Eastern Conference. This isn't even the Western Conference. So, yeah, why not be number one in the East when you got James Harden leading the team? And and Kyrie as his support. He's done this, like I said, with Chris Paul, and he's done this to some extent when he had Russell Westbrook last season. Maybe not number one in the West, obviously, but he can make a team get to the playoffs on his own. That's a given. That's the whole big thing about this. That's what you're supposed to be at. You have these 3 guys. Show more. You got to prove everybody right that believes in you and everybody else wrong that thinks like I'm thinking, like, this ain't going to work, bro. This ain't going to work. They don't have that dynamic right now that the Warriors had because it takes court time and experience to get there. You have to trust your teammate. You could trust them off the court, but when it gets in those situations, it needs to be natural, like a reflex. How do you get there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and
You got to
disagree that
make
they
those
don't need more
mistakes.
floor time.
You got to make every team makes mistakes. You got to make those mistakes
Yeah.
sooner rather than later. It's the second half of the regular season. You got to make those mistakes in season. If you don't have those opportunities to make those mistakes in season, and then you turn around and make those mistakes in the postseason, that's going to make other players on your team irate. They're going to be frustrated because then it's going to be more of a blame and less of a self-accountability. Oh, I didn't see you there, or that's my bad. It's about, what were you doing? Like you right now.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I just think that you're going through all these hypotheticals, and these
Hypotheticals.
guys, man, you have three of probably the top 10 best players in the NBA right now on one team. Okay. Um, and they've all, I know Harden's never been to a finals, but he's made the playoffs enough. KD's won finals, Kyrie's won finals, KD's been on a super team, Kyrie's been on a team with LeBron. Like, I just feel like, yeah, floor time wouldn't hurt, like all 3 of these guys together. I think that would only help them. Like, the sooner you get KD back and all these guys play together, I think the longer they play together, the better they'll be. I'm not going to argue that. But I'm just saying these guys don't get on the court. And I mean, yeah, in some game series, they might drop a game or two to a team they shouldn't, like the Knicks or the Heat or some team like that. Like they'll probably lose a couple games, but I just think, man, they're experienced. They're all veterans. They're all great players. They all know what they need to do. I mean, it's like I said. Let's say KD wants to take the last shot. He wants to carry the team in the fourth, but he's driving in and sees the guy that's covering Kyrie comes down to double team, and he's going to kick it out. Like he's not dumb. I mean, he's going to know the right play to make. These guys aren't rookies. They've all been there. They're all experienced. I just think it'll come natural to some extent for him.
Yeah, he's going to know what play to make, but it's up to the other person to fill in that space when he wants to make that play, or it's going to look like a bad pass because nobody's there. It takes experience. You know that. You've played basketball. And the reason for all these hypotheticals is because when you talk about teams of this caliber, or even teams with two superstars, no different than the Lakers last year with AD and LeBron, you talk about the windows of opportunity of them winning. Like, what is a must-win situation? What's a must-win situation for the Brooklyn Nets? So regardless of injury, it's like you have to win in order to be successful. Look at what happened last year with the Clippers. Yeah, that looked like a big hypothetical. Nobody really saw that happening. But now, going into this season, if they don't make it very far again, then it's going to look like, okay, they need to break that up. It's not working. It has not worked. So that's why it's a hypothetical. Yeah, it's the same thing with the Sixers, but the Brooklyn Nets are on a higher platform. When it's not working and you're expecting so much in so little of a time because of how powerful these superstars are, that's why it's hypothetical. Because is it likely that these things happen? No. Can they happen? Yeah. So if they happen, you need a contingency plan, or people are going to judge you and view you as you came up short. I mean, how many people talk about the Portland Trailblazers where they try to go on deep playoff runs and then they come up short? They're grinding it out, but you don't see Damian Lillard stacking the deck like Kevin Durant stacking the deck and then losing way too early. You just keep grinding. But when, like I said, when you put yourself in the spotlight, it's no different when Kyrie Irving makes comments and then the media gets a hold of it and he's like, well, the media just needs to stay out of it. It's the media. They're going to eat you up because you're Kyrie Irving. You're that high caliber player. Same thing with Kevin Durant. Michael Rappaport is going to eat you up or Charles Barkley because you're Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? Like, you have a profile to your name and people draw to that, and there's going to come positive and negative. You can't help that because you're that type of player. You're that great. They're respecting greatness, even if they're negative comments, because, when you talk about a Rodney Magruder, who's mentioning Rodney Magruder? Are we on here having a debate about Rodney Magruder contributing to a team? Do you want to do that? You want Rodney Magruder? I keep saying his name because I feel like every time I say his first name and go to this last name, people forget who the first name was. Magruder. What was his first name? Rodney. Yeah. Rodney Magruder, Hugh.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh, you do?
He tried my boy Clay. And Draymond, and then while Clay was doing the interview on TV. I remember Clay, man, he hurt and all, man. He took the headset off and ran down them steps. He was ready to throw fists with him.
Hey, man, real quick, I'm just looking at the highlights. I got to drop this in the middle of the segment. I got a whose man is this? Michael Conley. You know what he looks like right now? You're looking at it. Nipsey Hussle.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at Utah Jazz right now.
Nipsey plays for Utah Jazz. Yeah, he looks like a little bit like Nipsey up close.
I guess he does, don't he?
Yeah, that's a whose man is this?
Yeah, but hey, speaking on this, before it just came on the TV, it reminded me, and I don't think that the Brooklyn Nets will have as much success. I think I pin a lot on this on Aldridge and how he can step in and play with those guys. But I mean, hopefully his debut went better than Drummond's tonight. I mean, he did. I think Drummond had, 2 turnovers, 4 points, 4 fouls. I know he got hurt. Well, his toenail came off his foot and he missed pretty much all the second half. But I mean, I think he shot like 2 for 6. Not as good numbers as I think they were expecting. But hopefully Aldridge comes in and meshes back pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens in the league when you don't play for 6, 7, maybe going on 8 weeks. What was it, like the end of
been a while.
In the middle of February, before All-Star game or something? They shut him down? That's a long time.
It was before the All-Star game, yeah.
You and I might look at it as weeks as far as time frame, but when you're an NBA player, you have to look at it as games, not just weeks. So even though the injury report says, the report says, yeah, he hasn't played in 5 or 6 weeks, you're talking about that could be like 20 games right there, 20 games. So where other players are playing 20 games or somewhere in that range, and they're getting their conditioning up, you haven't played in a full game like that with conditioning, and you don't know what you can do on the court as far as where you left off last time. Your skill level, but you got to get your body and your mind up to par to perform at your maximum skill level. So yeah, I mean, hopefully Aldridge comes out a little bit more decent. Maybe I'll have less pressure on him because of at least having Harden there and or Kyrie whenever he comes back to the world. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it goes better. But that's just what happens in this league. Just to let you know, that's my thought process on that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I respect what you're saying. Anything could happen, but this is about opinions, and that's my opinion. I think they're favorites in the East.
I'm sorry, you just talked about Drummond and went straight into something else.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Sorry. No, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, I just maybe with AD and LeBron when they come back, Drummond can mesh in well with them. But no, yeah, Aldridge.
But that's the thing right here, son. Trying to cycle this back to Brooklyn, you need somebody who is accountable, and then you need somebody who also meshes the team together. And LeBron's proven enough that he could do that. He can take pieces and make them work with what he's got and help to control the attitudes along with the coaching and whatnot. Brooklyn, that's another thing. Like, you have to have a player that does that. And if you're considering that Kevin Durant is the leader of this team, he's got to do that. He's got to be responsible enough to do that. I mean, I've seen these players. I've seen, where Kyrie Irving's trying to do that after he left Cleveland and went to Boston. He said himself, these guys don't want to listen to me. He had to apologize to LeBron and said, this is harder than it looks. So that didn't work out for him. Harden, he hasn't been able to do that in the past with his teams. He's great in the regular season and, plays well in the playoffs, but it takes more than just playing well. It takes leadership. You have to direct people and guide them in. Chris Paul was a big help to them, but then when he missed those games against y'all and they couldn't advance in that series, I think they were up in, Harden couldn't take over then. And Kevin Durant, we've seen him play with the personality of Russell Westbrook, who will hold the player accountable. Yeah, sometimes he takes bad shots himself, but it's the self-accountability and then the accountability to hold others accountable. When Draymond Green tried to do that to Kevin Durant, what happened? There was a feud there. The press got hold of it. And then they try to clear it up. But I think that stuff is still ongoing in the background. You've seen that. So that's what I'm saying. All three guys, like these personalities, have individually shown that on other teams that they've respectively played for. Now you're putting them together, essentially in a bubble, and you're trying to make that work. It only takes one thing. So the hypothetical no longer becomes a wild shot. It's something that's a part of the equation already. You just hope that stays on the wraps. But we've seen these guys all individually do something that deters them from their ultimate goal that is basically self-inflicted in a way. The media is one of the biggest things that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving have to face and deal with. So that's another team, so to speak, that they have to play against.
Themselves?
The media.
Oh, the media. Yeah.
Are you sleepy?
No, I'm good. The way you worded that, I was like, I thought you were talking about themselves and not taking accountability.
Oh, well, yeah. What you're saying now, yeah, that too. Because if they're not taking accountability, then they are battling themselves. And if you don't take self-accountability, that means you're the type of person that points the blame at others, where you might need to do both. It does make sense.
Hopefully that ain't an issue.
But if you don't get your coach involved as well,
then
he can't put the blame on one individual person without them getting mad. You have to get your coach
just use
involved.
Kyrie as a scapegoat.
That's what I said before. If this goes south like real bad in a hurry, like they get a first round exit, yeah, Kyrie's name's going to be in the news. They're going to look at somebody that needs to be traded. Something different needs to happen. The only thing that with the Clippers is that they didn't have a lot of pieces that they could trade, but Montrezl Harrell up and left himself, and they got rid of Doc Rivers. So something will happen if it goes south real quick. And I hope Steve Nash doesn't take the hit, the fall for it, but we've yet to see what's going to happen.
Respect that.
You're not supposed to respect. You're supposed to debate me.
No, I mean, I agree with what you said. I mean, yeah, like I said, hopefully that team is experienced enough and everybody can know their role and everybody can get along and hopefully, I mean, I think there's a chance they run into them issues, but hopefully they show enough professionalism and can hold themselves accountable enough and others slightly to not run into those major hiccups. And yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, I still think they're going to come out the East, but I mean, I could see problems like that arising. Hopefully it doesn't, and hopefully if it does, then it's not big enough where it totally wrecks all the team chemistry that they have. And if it does, then do one of the rotations that we talked about and just leave one of them out. Don't put them in with the other ones.
Hugh, this is not a podcast. You're supposed to tell me why you think this won't happen. You have to debate why you think they will gel. Why do you think they're going to make it out the East or to the Eastern Finals? Why will they gel? Tell me.
Look. Hey, look at the
Who's
TV.
the leader?
My boy Kyrie's on there. But
tell me, yeah.
Kevin Durant is the leader.
And tell me what he can do to help your case as far as this is not going to happen because Kevin Durant can do this or Kyrie can keep his mouth shut.
Well,
you're just agreeing with my statement.
Well, I'm not saying I totally think you're wrong. I'm just saying
it's okay.
I think these players are experienced enough in the playoffs.
I'm not saying I'm totally right because I agree with you in the sense, yeah, they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They can make it out the East. They can win a championship. The debate is why won't they for me and why will they for you? Any of this is possible. We all know that. Anything could happen. They could lose every game from here on. What are the odds of it? Very low, but it could happen.
I think that no matter what happens to that team, that those guys are experienced, they are professionals, they know all that superstar talent, what's expected of them. They know their role. They know each one of them is not going to put up 30 a night. They know there's going to be games where one person's going to go off, the other one might be, I mean, even as low as, 10 points, something like that. I mean, they just know, I think going into that situation, these things. So I think, and all this stuff's been talked about with, obviously Blake Griffin's not going to have a huge impact on that team. He's a good leader. He's a great vision. He can crash the boards, but we don't expect him to score much. We don't expect him to do a lot of other stuff. He's just kind of there. Good presence, in my opinion. Aldridge, yeah, hopefully he can just help crash the boards, help defend other big men, stuff like that. They don't expect him to score much. They have other people for that. I think everybody that's on that team, at least in that starting lineup, should know their role. I think they're all, like I said, experienced enough. The big three guys for them, they all have playoff experience. Kyrie and KD, have won it all, and Harden's still looking for that. That's why one reason he's so happy to go to Brooklyn. But I think these guys are professionals, and yeah, there might be some things behind the scenes or whatever, or stuff even might come out in the media. But I just think these guys, they know what's at stake, and they can probably, KD and Kyrie already have issues with the media as is. They're probably like, could you imagine with all this talent, if we lose in the second round, what the media would do to us? And they probably just talk about this stuff, and they're like, man, we can't let that happen. We need to be professionals. We need to hold everybody accountable. We need to be accountable for ourselves. We need to make smart plays. I just think it's common stuff. So yeah, like you touched on, these things can happen, and I wouldn't be totally shocked if it did, but I'd be more shocked about this happening than them losing in the second round than this happening. But I just think that team is too stacked, and I think they have too much talent, and I think they realize what they have in the limited time that they can have all this and this opportunity to win. And I just think they're going to take advantage of it. I don't see these stuff being major issues for them. Like I said, maybe slightly stuff you don't hear about much, maybe behind the scenes or something like that. But I think these guys are professionals, and I think they know what's at stake this season, and they know the opportunity that's in front of them. And I don't think they're gonna spiral out of control like you're trying to say there's a possibility they might.
Congratulations. You just
That
started a
better?
debate. This has been
That better.
debate 101. And I'm going to debate you again. They're unprofessional, Hugh. Unprofessional. Kyrie Irving, you just talked about him yourself. You were like, when's he coming back? I don't know. Your bud was telling me today, he's like, does anybody know why Kyrie's even out? I mean, yeah, there's stuff in the news, but it's like the guy is in and out. I mean, I understand you got issues off the court. So do other teams. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns had to deal with issues. I mean, I get that. You know, there's stuff you do have to take care of, but this is not professional way of doing it. Harden has straightened up. He was unprofessional at the beginning of the season when with the Rockets. So, you know, the media is going to get a hold of that, even though he's straightened up so far while he's playing for Brooklyn. You know, the media can pick and agitate at you. They can bring up stuff. Let's say the team does come back together and they lose the first game in the first round, and the media is starting to say, well, James, do you feel like you need to get traded from this team to go form another one? You don't know what can happen that can agitate these guys' personality. And then you talk about Kevin Durant. You just showed me the Michael Rappaport thing. That, in a way, is unprofessional. Yeah, you have your own personal feelings, and yeah, you feel like you want to defend yourself, but you are in a big spotlight, not nationally, internationally. People follow you. People are going to want to know about you. And yeah, he didn't post it. Michael Rappaport did. But guess what? Your name is linked to that. It's out there now. Now you got to deal with that while you're on the sidelines rehabbing. So when the press interviews you and you don't want to hear it, they're still going to say it. You can easily shut them down, but that doesn't stop them from mentioning it. When you say, I don't want to answer any more of these questions, they're like, what about you and Michael Rappaport? What about this? Hugh, you got something to say? Come at me, bro. Come at me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying and how all this could be issues, but I'm gonna go with a quote you said earlier, that there's a difference between the regular season and the postseason. And I think, you know, you might hear some of these distractions and stuff in the regular season. I think once postseason hits, they're going to be like, hey, it's crunch time. Let's get it done. Let's drown out everything else. Let's focus on this. We'll deal about anything else that happens after the season or whatever. But hey, playoffs, let's do this. And I think that's what's going to happen.
And have these guys.
I do agree with what you said. I do see them, especially Kyrie, in my opinion, unprofessional at times. Harden with two with Brooklyn and you know, KD occasionally with the media. But yeah, I think once playoff time hits, they're like, let's focus. And I think that's what they'll do.
They need to take a lesson out of LeBron's playbook. When LeBron, you know, turns off all social media, that's what these guys have to do. Even if they're not fans of LeBron, that's what they have to do. Block out the social media. The social media is not their friend, but they keep responding to it. And they tear you up in the postseason. You mess up a game, they're going to tear you up. That's what they want. The criticism. They will eat you alive, bro.
I agree. Yeah, that'd be smart. Smart move for them. It would definitely help. Wouldn't hurt. Their lives would probably be more bored when they're not practicing or playing. But I mean, yeah. I think even as regular people, like I see a lot of people doing it. Like they just feel overwhelmed and stuff like that, and they just, you know, get off all social media for a week and they talk about how much better they feel. Like if I ever was in that situation, I'd be like, yeah, and I'd, you know, log off Instagram and Facebook and Snap and do all that stuff.
Maybe that's why Kyrie's missing some time as well with his family or whatever else is going on, is just to get away. But you can get away, but you also have to come back to it, because you can stop looking at the social media posts, but when it comes to the post-game interviews, you will have to deal with that at some point as well. So like I said, again, they have to figure out a way to tune that out, and they have to hold each other in check on tuning that out. They can be their biggest distraction if they let the media control their narrative and they respond to it.
I like that. I like that, how you worded that. Yeah.
Speaking of the media, who's more exciting? Because you brought this up earlier. The Brooklyn Nets or the New York Knicks?
I feel like this is obvious, and I swear, if you try to twist this to the Knicks somehow, I'm going to be shook. I mean, Brooklyn, obviously, and I'll tell you why. I mean, imagine, like we said, we've only seen 5, 6, 7 games with all three of the guys on the court, and they played well together. Now, I think that'll be fun to watch. I mean, it would be like kind of like an all-star game every day, every game with those guys, and they're obviously excited to watch. Now, I mean, we've seen plenty of just 2-on-2, KD and Kyrie and Harden. I mean, they play great. to get all those guys, duos play good together. Good, they play well together. They're fun to watch. And then hell, even here lately, it's just Harden, and they're still fun to watch. Seeing what he's doing, his triple double, seeing him balling, seeing him doing everything he wants on the court, getting other guys involved. It's all exciting. So I think you could go from when they got everybody healthy to when they got just one superstar playing. I think they're fun to watch no matter what. And not to knock on the Knicks. I mean, yeah, Julius Randle's going off. They got Derrick Rose and quickly, and they got exciting guys over there. Mitchell Robinson. I know he's hurt now, but yeah, I mean they got exciting guys there. And like you said earlier, no one expected them to be sixth. Really expected it. So yeah, I'm not knocking on them or anything. I mean, watching a Nets game is like close to watching an All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you with what you said as far as how I'm going to twist this around. The New York Knicks are more exciting than the Brooklyn Nets, bro. This is what we expect from the Brooklyn Nets. I have to keep saying that until they do something and mess it up. The New York Knicks are more exciting. They're unpredictable in the way that is more positive. This Nets team, they should be at the top. They should be the best team in the league.
See, you didn't ask me who's the biggest surprise.
No, I said most exciting. Are you not excited when you see a surprise? You're not excited by a surprise. Are you the type of person that don't like surprises?
Would you rather watch a Nets game than a Knicks game on TV?
It depends who they're playing.
They both have the same opponent. Both playing Philly. You gonna tell me you'd rather watch the Nets over the Knicks? I mean, Knicks over the Nets.
Right now, probably, because the Nets don't have the drama that I want on the court. They don't have Kyrie and Kevin Durant and James Harden playing at the same time.
It's James Harden's team. Don't you want to watch him?
I've seen that. It's called the Houston Rockets. They're in a gray jersey this year, a black, gray, white jersey, whatever you want to call it. Until they all three get on the court and they have their issues on the court. Yeah, the Knicks, bro. The Knicks are where it's at, bro. The Knicks are doing something. Every game with the Knicks, you're like kind of like, are they going to win or are they not going to win because of how bad they've been the last few seasons? And then you're wondering, can Julius Randle keep up this all-star performance? And then he shows up. And then boom, how more exciting is it when you hear about, James Harden got a triple-double? Okay, well, what did he post? Hey, Julius Randle got a triple-double. You've even said that to me before, just checking fantasy. Julius Randle got a triple-double. I'm like, man, that's crazy. He got a triple-double.
You're not expecting to see it. I don't think it's more exciting.
It is more exciting. If you're coming from New York, it's more exciting. Represent, bro.
We're not from New York.
Nope, but there's fans that are. And like I said, if anybody's listening to this that's from New York, I mean, we had that comment back, in one of our earlier episodes. You got to respect Julius Randle, respect his game. I mean, I think we've shown enough respect to the Nets. And you've shown a lot of respect for Kevin Durant this season. He hasn't even played that many games. You even called him the face of the Nets. Look at Julius Randle, man. This is the team that, you look like
he's the face of the Nets. He's the face of the Nets. They failed
the last couple seasons in getting the superstars. They failed at getting Kevin Durant. They failed at getting Kyrie Irving to come to New York and play for the Knicks. This team failed. But now they're winning. They're winning. You got these guys that's been longtime New York fans, and they're in the playoff race right now. Like, dude, this is exciting. Even if they were to lose in the first round, it'd still be like, that's great. We had a great season. New York fans, oh man, they'd be super excited. The Nets, anything short of a finals appearance is just a waste. What's there to get excited about? Like, man, we didn't make the finals. How would you feel the first year y'all had Kevin Durant on the Warriors, you didn't make the finals?
I'd be pissed.
That's all I'm saying. New York Knicks, I don't think they can be let down. God forbid, I hope Julius Randle doesn't get hurt this season, but outside of the injuries, they can't be let down as of right now. They're excited. They're pumped up. The Nets, they're unraveling. They're all over the place.
They are not unraveling.
You got one guy.
They just came into first.
You got one superstar on the court.
Unraveling.
You got one superstar that stays about 4 feet off of the court because he's on the bench, and then you got the other superstar is he in the state?
I don't know where he's at.
We don't know where he's at. You got 3 superstars in 3 different places all the time. Is that exciting? Maybe that's exciting. If you like that kind of kind of thing,
I'd take a James Harden Nets game over a Knicks game any day of the week.
So you were a James Harden fan when he was on the Rockets. I heard you talk
No,
bad about James Harden.
no, I don't. I'm not, and I'm not that big on James Harden, but he's a
You're not big on
superstar.
James Harden. We've
He's
seen
just
this.
himself is success. Okay, Curry. Okay, Curry. Let's say the Warriors games. Not me being a Warriors fan. Just say the Warriors. Steph Curry. Let's say Draymond's out. Let's say Clay. Let's say this is back. I don't know before they got KD came in, right? Draymond's out. Clay's out. It's just Curry. I'd still rather watch that game because just what he can do. He can take over a game, carry that game, and James Harden can do that on any night. Kyrie can do it on any night.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Yeah, James Harden can take over, but you yourself said I don't like watching James Harden. He travels all the time.
No, I got ticked because he always jumped into people when he shot.
Well, that's part of his game. That's him taking over. Curry
but I just mean him as a superstar.
What about when
him
Julius Randle takes over and he gets a triple-double and you're like, man.
Bro, that's happened like once.
He's balling.
It's happened like
it's
once.
Exciting. It makes you want to see it happen again. How many times you want to see James Harden get How many times you want to see James Harden get a triple-double because he went to the free throw line 30 times or 20 times?
See, any other day.
He jumps into players. You know you don't like it when he jumps into players or he gets away with his travels.
I'm not talking about him specifically. I just mean to see
I'm talking about you specifically. Don't go by what everybody else wants. What do you want?
No. Okay. And I respect Harden a lot more since he came to Brooklyn. And I've told you this.
And it's okay.
In Houston, he was always just mad and causing a problem. And he's went to Brooklyn. He's put his head down and he's shut up and he's went to work. And I respect that. He wasn't happy in Houston. I don't like the way he asked for a trade, but he did what he did. And he got traded to a team he wanted to go to. And you see he's happy to be there and he wants to be there. And he knows what they're capable of. And he's putting his head down and ain't making a scene. He's doing his job. And he's doing a hell of a job at it.
So it's fun to watch James Harden's Houston Rockets of the East team.
See, I mean, I'm not saying that. You wait, man.
That's what it is, Hugh. That's what it is.
Nah, see, you were telling me about the lobs to Blake Griffin. You were telling me about all this crazy stuff that's gonna happen now with the Nets, and now you like retracting on it.
No, I'm not retracting on that. That does happen. They're going to be lobs. That's what they're going to do. That's what James Harden does. He throws lobs. He can pass the ball. What's new here, Hugh? What's new? If you weren't a James Harden fan before, why are you a James Harden fan now?
I done told you. I ain't saying it again.
Because you're not really a James Harden fan.
I mean,
you're just salty against the Knicks.
I'm much rather a KD fan.
Knicks
I probably
fan.
even prefer
Knicks
Kyrie.
fans. Hate on Huber.
I'm not hating as a Knicks fan. I shouted them out earlier. What they're doing this season's amazing, and no one expected it, even their fans probably.
So it's
But
exciting.
I'm saying if you're talking on a team that is more exciting to watch, in my opinion, is the Nets. I like watching successful teams. It doesn't matter if let's take a football. Any football fans here, okay?
No.
I just want to contradict here. Let me do what I'm doing. Okay, the Chiefs, right? They've been to back-to-back Super Bowls, right? They're a great team, okay? Let's say you expect them to win every game. That doesn't mean you're not going to watch them. Because any given night, Patrick Mahomes can throw for 500 yards a game, 6 touchdowns. That don't mean you're not going to watch them.
No,
because you expect them to win.
I respect greatness. And I told you, I'm not trying to make this a football thing because I don't really get into football that much. But you asked me last year who's making it. And I told you Tom Brady. I had said that. I said, if he doesn't make it, I'll be shocked. I said, he's so great that he could do things down there. And we see how far he goes. But Tom Brady, if you want to go that route because of what he can do. And I don't even watch football. I was just saying something that I thought
you said Tom Brady. You said Tom Brady. You didn't make a noise.
What about it?
You're supposed to make the noise when you say his name.
Why don't you make the noise?
Nah, I ain't even gonna try.
Why don't you make
but I
was just the noise for Patrick Mahomes?
I was just throwing out a hypothetical there. I mean, it's the same way. I mean, just because the Warriors, me not being a fan.
With the football, was it not exciting with Tom Brady because he was playing on a new team after being with the Patriots for so long that, hey, can this guy win a championship with this team? Yeah, you talk about Patrick Mahomes all the time because of what he just did the season beforehand, but was it not exciting that Tom Brady had a bigger challenge?
Yeah,
no different
and
than
I was
this.
voting the
What's
whole
the challenge
season
of
for the
James Harden
Buccaneers.
carrying a team? He's done that before versus Julius Randle having a breakout career season as an all-star playing for the New York Knicks, who was just crapped on for the last several years.
The Knicks are more surprising, but I think
So they're exciting.
Nets are more exciting.
Mm.
And especially wait till you get all three guys. And I think it's just gonna be like pay-per-view there every game.
Oh, when are they getting all three guys? Hugh? Is that season of 2021?
I mean, whether it's the playoffs, I mean,
no. What's going to be
playoffs,
exciting
it's gonna happen.
is if they're in the playoffs and they lose their first playoff game because of inexperience. Then it's going to be like, oh, we're looking at the Nets because we're like, okay, all the headlines come out. What are these guys doing wrong? I mean, at this point, you expect these guys to sweep, and they make it to the finals. 12-0 to get to the finals, right?
We'll see.
All right, let's put a wager.
I wouldn't
on
be
this.
surprised.
Let's do a wager on this. This is going to be our wager. Our wager, our first wager on this show, podcast, debate, everything. First wager. If the Nets win the chip, they make it all the way, Hubert, all the way. They win the chip for the 2020-2021 season. I will buy a Nets jersey.
Which net?
I don't know.
Kevin Durant.
Is that what you're saying, Kevin Durant?
And you wear it on the podcast.
I'll wear it on the podcast.
You don't just buy it, never wear it. You wear it.
No, if I buy it, I'm going to wear it because that thing's not going to be cheap unless they lose in the finals, and then I don't have to buy it. But I mean, not lose in the finals, lose early in the playoffs. But I'll wear it. I'll have it on. I got to get my money's worth out of it. But, all right, Kevin Durant. So it's your turn. I got a proposal for you.
All right.
So yours sounds more, I guess, what you would call realistic compared to mine because of based off the overall expectations and sports books. But for me, if the Nets lose before the conference finals, so that could be the first round or the second round, if they make it to the conference finals, bets off. If they lose before the conference finals, as far as the series, not just the game, obviously, you have to buy a jersey. You know who I want you to buy a jersey of? Take one guess. You don't really
Which
care
team
too much
you
about
on?
this person. Take one guess.
Which team?
Take one guess.
Which team?
Take one guess.
Oh no, Jamal Murray.
Take one guess. You have to buy a Jamal Murray jersey, and you have to wear it for a minimum of 10 episodes.
If I do, no, hold on. If they lose, you said for my wager, it's if they lose before the conference finals.
There's a chance that both of us won't get this wager because.
Yeah, I'm getting that, but hold on, because I do feel like mine has a better chance of winning than yours. So let's do this. No, okay, I'll do mine, but then yours is if they make it to the finals.
No.
Why?
If they win the finals. Because
okay, then have mine losing the first round then.
Huh? No, because you're the one that's saying they should be in the conference finals. So
I never said they were going to win the finals.
But this is a
Have
fair
you seen
shot.
the teams in the West?
But this is a fair shot. It's not an either or. We could both lose out on the wager, or we could both win the wagers. They have to win the chip.
I ain't worried about it.
They have to win the chip, and I'll buy the jersey. But for you, they have to not make it past the second round, basically. So they lose the first round or the second round. So basically, let's say they make it to the conference finals and they lose the finals. Then both of us, the wager's called off. Neither one of us won. So mine is the wager here. They win the chip this season. I will buy a Kevin Durant Brooklyn Nets jersey. I guess of my choosing, I will buy it. And the other option, or the other part of the wager, the counter to it was if they don't make it to the conference finals, then you buy a Jamal Murray jersey. I'll let you pick which jersey.
What would it take to get you a Steph Curry jersey?
What would it take for me to buy a Steph Curry jersey? How about they make it to the finals this year?
How many times have they made it in previous seasons?
So your odds are high.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, yeah, I like that wager though. I like that. Got a little bit of.
Which one? Are we doing a double wager? Are we doing double or nothing?
No.
I mean, because what if there's a scenario where Steph Curry makes it to the finals and the Brooklyn Nets make it to the finals and they beat them?
Or what if Brooklyn if Harden's injury tonight is serious and he gets hurt and then they fall out and don't even make the playoffs.
That's how sportsbook betting works. You don't know what's going to happen. It's based off the current. And then what happens in the future changes those odds. So the odds as of right now, Kevin Durant's out, not for the whole season. Kyrie Irving shall return and Harden's healthy. That's what I'm basing it off of. There's hypotheticals, like you said. Anything can happen. That does not stop the league from playing on. COVID happened last year, and they still found a way to complete the season. People want to put an asterisk beside the season. Sure, that's fine. Either way, there was a continuation where they had playoffs in the finals. So to each its own.
To each its own.
Don't just repeat what I say. Don't do that.
Nah, I like that saying. Not yet, but you got a deal.
All right, deal. Shake on it. Don't touch my hand.
I gotta advertise. What is that? Some Kroger hand saying?
Yeah. Shake my hand. Say something so they can see it. All right, that's nasty.
A little spit shake there. That's how we used to do it when we were kids.
When were you born, bro? 1920s?
Yeah. All right, D, you got any shout outs for the people?
I'm just looking at this highlight of women's tennis. Shout out to all of the women that are. Why are you looking at me like that, bro? We're not getting into any controversy. Stop looking at me like that.
I'm not looking at you like anything.
All the women who have subscribed to our podcast. No disrespect to the men. You can shout out the men if you want to, but I want to let the viewers know that there are women that are subscribed to our podcast. Some of them like basketball, some of them just like us. I don't know. Don't really care at this point. You know, it's a positive channel. We're trying to just get information out there. So if you like hearing it come out of our mouths, including, you know, our opinions as well, thank you. Big shout out. I mean, we know a few. Shout out to Brittany Chaplin, because she is maybe our most recent subscriber, actually. So shout out to her. I'm not sure if Vicky has gotten on yet to watch our video and or subscribe, but shout out to her again. And you know, whoever else is picking up this video for the first time and subscribe down the road, you know, don't have to be soon, but yeah, shout out to everybody that's on there, you know.
I just want y'all to know me and D enjoy making these debate episodes. Anyone that knows us in real life off of the podcast here know we argue daily anyways. So it's kind of cool sometimes just to put a camera in front of us and see what kind of stuff we can get into. It's pretty fun, pretty amusing. Usually some good things are said. There's some good debates, but yeah. No, I looked at you like that when you brought up the women's tennis. I thought you was going to go with TP. I thought you were about to shout out TP because you were talking about tennis. So that's why I gave you that look. But
shout out to, I like to use Cottonelle with the ALO. It's very small.
I hear you, but no, yeah. Shout out. Let me do a shout out. Who should I shout out?
Oh yeah, shout out to my wife Kathy, because she was probably, I'm for sure, our first woman subscriber, probably our first subscriber in general. Big supportive. I love her.
Yeah, I'll shout out Kathy too.
What?
Appreciate you. No, she was advertising for us on Facebook, posting us, and yeah, she's spreading the word around. So yeah, shout out Kathy, grinding for us.
Yeah, she's actually the
shout
only
out, shout out Jeff. Shout out Jeff too. I know we shouted at him before, but yeah, shout out Jeff for spreading the word and getting us a couple more subs. That's awesome. We definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, big shout out to Jeff, because he's probably gonna be our PR guy, because he's got to pick up your slack. You know, you haven't been grinding.
Yeah, I ain't trying to listen to this. You trying to start another debate now?
You're not trying to listen to our own podcast and debate? That's
nah.
Bad.
I ain't trying to hear you talk that nonsense.
What nonsense? What have you done lately?
I've been putting in this work, boy.
What work is that? I mean, earlier in the podcast, you were agreeing to everything I was saying. This wasn't even a debate. It was just straight up podcast. I keep calling it a podcast because that's what you got me feeling like. Like we're just on here stating the facts, bro.
Yeah, we good. Nah, yeah, sorry, I forgot. I mean, you were making good points. You're like arguing with a brick wall. Man. You don't let up. I think I have you, and then you're like, well, and then I'm like, yeah, I lost everything I was gonna say, and I'm
Wait a
so
minute.
confused right now.
Do that again.
And he actually
Do
made
that
sense.
again.
So I just mean, yeah. So I get a little bamboozled occasionally, but I got
And
my track
this
on,
is
and I
you.
feel like I
This is
made
you
valid
during
point.
the debate. You just kind of go.
I've never done that. This guy just don't recline. I can't do all that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to you. So I'm glad you made it back, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm
definitely.
here.
If y'all like these videos, Hugh, if you like these videos, we gotta keep doing these. It looks like so far we're doing like one a week. So definitely fun. If y'all got any topics y'all want us to discuss or debate, discussing in our podcast or debating on here on our YouTube page, send us a comment, send us a like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more of our videos, and turn your notifications on when we do post new videos. Once again, it's kicking in the second half. KISH YZ, KISH_YZ. You can find our podcasts on Anchor.fm, Spotify. Nobody can see you doing that, Hugh, because I'm talking. So if you want to show that, you need to say something. All right, just keep it shut then, and don't flash me those hand signals, please. They're inappropriate, Rob. And yeah, Google Pocket Casts Google Podcasts, sorry, and Pocket Casts. So yeah, just a couple places you can find our podcasts and our PPF audio only versions. But yeah, the debates for sure are just here on YouTube, and some of our other content like our shoes channel. Hugh, we got to get you on a shoes episode, and you got some dusties that we want to break out. So
Yeah, I'll be happy to.
this, whatever condition those things might be on. You got a dog, and it's going to probably look like a dog got a hold of them. I don't think the dog did. I think that was just you wearing them.
Might have been. They'll be looking good there, don't you worry.
As soon as your dad gets a hold of them and cleans them up, right?
Nah, don't bring him into this.
Shout out to Rick. Yo, BDR, what's good, bro? Hey, man, I like to shout him out. I got a trailer out here. He's got the gate to it. It's like lock and key, bro. Hey, shout out. I got to bring him some sticks, by the way.
Yeah, bricks for sticks.
Bricks for sticks. That can be a new segment for us.
Let's do it.
Hugh, any more shout outs, last words?
Nope.
If you want to do the hand gestures, like I said, talk during that so they can see what you're doing. I think they're very inappropriate because I don't want to look at them. But
okay. Yeah, my bad then. I definitely won't stop doing them.
Are you apologizing to them or me? Because they don't know what you did.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just like I'm not really apologizing to you. I'm just saying what you want to hear.
Do you always say what I want to hear?
Yeah, no, but hey, if you
no,
comment.
Wait a minute. Nope, we heard it here. He always says what I wanted to hear.
Did I? No, sorry.
Jeff
I
can
didn't
attest to
mean to
this. If we ever have Jeff Chaplin on the show.
Yeah, but
shout out to our bud YB, your bud 36. If you like gaming, catch him on Twitch, your bud 36. Shout out to cousin Fred. Hopefully we'll have you on here pretty soon. Shout out to Jim Coop, one of our earliest subscribers. He's on YouTube. He does these 1/72 scale miniatures, like they're like little war figures, and he has like this whole map with like jungles, huts, villages, and they have their assault rifles and whatnot, and their action pose, and he paints them, and he just does a bunch of work. I just checked out his videos, and they're pretty interesting to watch. He's also a history buff, so if you're watching any of his videos, leave some comments in there and ask him some questions, and I'm sure he'll relate to you. He's pretty good about responding to questions the next morning if it's late. But yeah, catch him on his YouTube page, Coop's Troop. That's COOP''S Troop, TROOP. Space in between, Coop's Troop.
Yeah, and one thing,
if anybody else, you're joining us for the first time,
he's a veteran.
Like I said, just check us out, look at some more videos, see if you like our content that we're putting out there. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and definitely leave comments and tell us any suggestions you want to hear us talk about.
Agreed.
If you have any new segment ideas, feel free to pass them by, and maybe we can incorporate them into our video. We like to provide different multitudes of content, mostly related to basketball. But if it's something that we feel like we could merge in there, yeah, please feel free. Like I said, we're getting going here. I think we've been doing great. We've been up and running for about a month now. We're getting the hang of things, putting out videos, several times a week, and like I said, just giving it to y'all raw. There's no editing here. It's just straight up real. It's me, D, Groot, and if he wants to show up, sometimes he's there most of the time. My go-to guy on most occasions. Don't look at me like that. You know where you're at sometimes. I know when you're available. I know where you live.
Yeah, you finna pull up sometime.
No, I will not pull up to his house at any time here lately because of COVID. I don't trust him. I keep this here. He doesn't really know what this is. This is some hand sanitizer.
Yeah. You got everything you needed to say? No, I was trying to say earlier, yeah, shout out. You were talking about the veterans yesterday. Shout out Coop. He's a veteran. He fought in Desert Storm. So yeah, shout out Coop. Yeah, so that's all. I hope everybody has a blessed night, and we'll see y'all again here very soon. All right, D.
There we go. That's one of my favorite parts of these episodes is just getting a kick out of Hugh. Just having that guy go to town on laughing hard and pass out on his couch over there. I mean, there's nothing like it. I love it. Yeah, thanks again for tuning in. Hugh, final shout out. Final shout out. Last one.
No, I'm good.
You can wrap it up.
I done said
You can wrap it up.
No, I'm good.
Shout out to your favorite Brooklyn Net.
Kevin Durant.
Steve Nash. Peace and love.